Okay, so I started this as a demonstration the other day, and then what happened was I filmed on the second day, and I wasn't really filming. So the whole part 2 of the demonstration did not get filmed, and then that was super discouraging. Yeah, super discouraging, and I just put it aside for quite a while now, weeks and weeks. And then I decided, well, you know what? A lot of times that second day of filming is just kind of more of the start. It's trying to make everything better, doing a second time over. So I decided I was gonna work on it again. And right now I just realized that my pastels were kind of a mess, so I'm just kind of trying to organize them a little. I'm still just working with my Rembrandts. So I don't have my expensive pastels out right now. Just this set of, I probably have 150 Rembrandts here. I'm not using that. I kind of combined the last tray in the 225 set is a lot of grays and tans. So I brought some of those into this 150 selection that I've got going. But I'm not using most of them. Most of the grays and tans. So, okay. So, like I say, I was really discouraged, and I thought the drawing was really bad, but you know, it just it doesn't really look that bad right now. What I'm trying to decide is there is supposed to be a tree right here that I left out. I don't know. I just don't know if I want to put that in or if I like it left out. It's a very misty day, which is something I'm not that familiar with painting, honestly. So that's kind of a good thing. All right, I'm going to start with the sky, and I'm just going to use gray, kind of a gray. It's a very nondescript sky. It's a very light gray, maybe too light. And I'm pretty sure from looking at it that I sprayed the heck of it out of it right before, but probably when I thought I'd actually filmed. All right, I'm going to try a little violet in the sky because that just looks too washed out. And I've got the thing really up high, so I don't know how that's going to go. For some reason, I just couldn't get the easel down lower. So one thing you would definitely want to do here, like I say, I thought the drawing was so bad, but it's really not that bad. I thought that none of my lines were parallel, but they are. So one thing when you're doing a structure like this, you want your paper parallel to the side of your board, and you want to be sure that everything is straight up and down, because otherwise it's very easy to make crooked lines. All right, so I'm going to use this violet. See if I can just clean things up a little bit. So there is some perspective, you know, involved here. And I recommend, I guess, that if you want, that you watch my perspective videos. It might help you. The key thing, one of the main things to remember. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this is actually up front. I think I was treating that like it was in the back, but it's here, so it needs to be that light color too. One of the main things about perspective is that there's no parallel horizontal lines in perspective. So like this angle of this line, this is above my eye level, and my eye level is about right here. So this line, the imaginary line that would connect the front of these two pillars, is pretty close to a straight line. And if I could see any of these lines underneath, they would appear to run uphill, like the bottom line of the building. So, you know, there you are, and you've learned all your life that the sides of buildings are parallel. And so you try to make them all parallel when you draw them, and then it won't look right because you have to lie. about perspective. Also, I don't want to spend forever on this I want to just kind of get this a little better, and then I want to, okay, so this was here. This doesn't seem quite thick enough. Yeah, I want to work on the flowers more, but a lot of times it's nice to have a building. It provides a little structure. Just want to see if this is any, no, that's the same color basically. Let's see what this will do. Anyway, having something that's man-made provides a little more kind of a, I don't know, would the word be like a foil for all the natural stuff that's just sort of higgledy-piggledy, and then you can have a little bit of structure in the painting. So I kind of like that. Okay, so I kind of got, I need to show that this side on the left is lighter than the side on the right. So I'm going to come back with that gray. Oh my God, I think that was white. All right, where did that gray go? Oh, good job, Jeneane. Well, maybe that is it. I guess that is it. It just looks so bright. I went to the new Museum of American Impressionism in Westerly, Rhode Island this weekend, and it's just an incredible museum, and everyone who lives in Rhode Island should be so excited to go there. But there was a quote on the wall from some guy, I think he was an art teacher, but I can't remember which place he was an art teacher, but he said, and I thought this was so well put, he said, paint in verbs, not nouns. So instead of painting like now, I'm painting the edge of the building. What I'm doing is I'm painting this weird color shape right now. This sort of, I need it to be a little lighter, but not too light as it comes across here. So anyway, I haven't got that all hashed out in my mind yet because it was just something I just read, but I thought it was really good. So I just put it out there to you to think about it yourself. All right, so now this stuff, maybe I'll lay that flat and put that in later, that lattice. That's always pretty difficult to do vertically, especially when you can't quite really reach what you're doing. And I want to make these guys go back more. Shouldn't have gone up so high. Some of this really needs to be dark because it's really under the roof. So. And this edge back here needs to be more out of focus of the greenery. All right, so now foreground. So I'm going to go ahead and this actually looks to be an expensive red right here. It's snuck in. But, you know, if I was ever going to use it, this is the time for it. And there was this guy there, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. He wasn't an artist I was familiar with, but he did a lot of paintings of people swimming in the ocean, and he almost always used a bright red bathing cap on them because, you know, whether they had one or not, it's a really good trick to have a bright red bathing cap. It's like Corot's thing of always having somebody with a red bandana in his paintings. So So I just want to bring up the flowers a little bit. So that was just too much the exact same. So here I'm trying to press harder sometimes and lighter sometimes, and that almost gives me the effect of using more than one color. And I'm going to get the flowers back in first, and then I'll do the foliage. I don't know, I don't like that color very much. Not sure these are flowers over here or just leaves, but and I'm going to make it a little more, I think I'm going to try to make it a little more obvious there where how this works, that this path goes in between here. I picked a way too sunny color here. I should stop with that. I was also interested to see how many paintings I might, at the museum, that I might have had something to say about, like, oh, you should not put that tree right in the middle. Or, oh, you should really develop that area more and not just leave it a little outline. And so it just reminded me again that to try not to think about rules because every rule there ever was has been broken by a painter better than me. And I did notice a lot of them, you know, that they had done, maybe I just noticed the ones that were like what I said, but they'd, you know, used a horizontal stroke for the ground and more of a vertical stroke for vertical planes. So that was kind of also gratifying. So if you're anywhere near Westerly, you should definitely make a trip to this museum. And while you're at it, it's not that really much further to Old Lyme, Connecticut, so you could go there too. And go to the Florence Griswold Museum, which now, for some cute reason, they're calling the Flojo or something. Flo Grizz, maybe. So I guess right here I feel like I'm kind of doing that thing of not painting nouns, but rather painting verbs. So more about the color in here and not the color and not the, maybe not the, like I'm not painting foliage exactly. I'm painting splops of color back there and trying to make it a little lighter on the top. Kind of make it blend into that sky a little more. All right, and then I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna get something. I used this before and thought it was too sunny, but I think I need it here. Same thing, I'm trying not to focus on, oh, I'm painting leaves. But it is kind of amazing. These leaves must be fairly thick that you can see the they actually have an edge along them. An edge that sort of shows up later. I wonder if I can. Painting lattice back there. And then there's actually quite a bit of foliage coming through here. Sometimes I know I'm using the same color too long. Like I'm keeping that same color in my hand too long. But doing that does kind of help make a unity in your picture. And I can always come back and break it up some more. You know, maybe I shouldn't put that in first. Maybe I should have done all the foliage first. I don't know. And then I've got these. Those castor beans, maybe. And sometimes I think it helps to know what stuff is in the garden. What is that plant? And sometimes I think it maybe helps not to know. But the main thing I got from going to the museum yesterday was that I've got to be a braver painter. And I'm not exactly sure what that even means, but that's what I want to try to do. Be braver. Now, one thing about pastels is I do want to put in these little bright flower spots before I start doing a bunch of green, because the flowers don't show up very well on top of all that green. And there was a few more of those kind of leaves here. And of course, my other question all the time is how can I create a sense that I did a lot of detail with just a tiny bit of detail. So hopefully just a few places where the leaves are a little more articulated turns the whole thing into detail. Now it's a cloudy day, so whoops, whole pastel just fell out of there. It's a cloudy day. Nope, not light enough. It's a cloudy day, so the colors are more strongly what they are, like green, whatever they are, whatever their local color is, which just means the color that, you know, you would identify them as if you were looking at a children's book. Leaves are green. Anyway, there's more local color on a gray day. And that's why a lot of times people will they'll take pictures of flowers. A gray day is considered the best day to take pictures of flowers because it makes the colors really pop. So for a painter, that can be a little bit of a pain in the neck. But that is the thing about painting outdoors, is you want to be exposed to all that variety of light effects. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. Just sort of weaving a carpet is kind of, I would guess, is how maybe I might put it. I feel like this is, like I made all that too bright. Like it is kind of that bright, but it seems a little too bright. I'm just wondering if I could tone it down some. Sometimes you make a mistake like that, it just definitely means you're going to have to spray it. Whoa. Found a few more things I didn't realize I dropped. Ooh, that's a softer purple too, so use that in there. I did, when I first bought more expensive pastels, it was with the plan to use them in garden paintings. I was doing a lot of garden paintings then. But like a lot of things, what happens is I sort of get, I don't know, I get good at it, maybe a little bit good at it, and then I feel bored. So I move on to something else, and I still do some garden paintings, but definitely not as many as I used to. I'm just trying to look now, take a more close look and see if there's some, what would that word be? Just different shapes of foliage that I could do. And then I feel like I made, this is kind of two separate sections of flowers here. There's these lighter guys right here at the edge. Let's see if I can make them lighter. A little different than those other ones. There was an incredible painting in the museum yesterday of orange and red nasturtiums in front of a red background. I mean, I just never feel like I've never seen another still life like it, where you would have red on red on red. And it wasn't just the background, the fabric was folded over so that it became the foreground too. And how they did that, the beautiful way the artist did that, of just changing the direction of their strokes. Really, the colors were almost identical in the foreground and background, but because she changed her strokes and put just a little bit of perspective in, it really made it look like part of that background was vertical and part was horizontal, instead of just maybe a background floating, the object's kind of floating in front of a vertical background, if that makes sense. All right. I guess I need some lighter bits, maybe. Kind of got too crazy there, too much of that pink, I think. A little better. Trying to make it more of an effort to make these be a light and shadow side instead of all right, I think that's a little better, but I think I need even a little lighter. Honestly, I have no idea where I want the viewer to look. I mean, I'm not even thinking about it. This is a pretty strong point right there. This is probably too much back here. I'd kill some of the value contrast back there. Makes it a little harder to look back there. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to stop filming. I'm going to turn the camera around, lay this flat, and see if I can't draw those things in. Well, maybe I'll just stand up and do it. And I'm going to use charcoal and just see if I can. Oh, great, that went. So this is here, this is here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it doesn't matter, right? Just need to kind of space them equal and they can just disappear down there. So I think with that in mind, I'm going to start from the top and just work my way down. Yeah, see, you could measure, you could do all kinds of things, right? I'm not an architect. I don't have to do all this stuff. Okay, and then the vertical lines. I don't care if I get enough. And this is why you draw with charcoal. Because, all right, and I see that the horizontal lines are in front of the vertical lines. So. All right, so I just want the exact right color so I don't have to do this more than once. it's much easier to draw a line down from the top. So if you need to, if for some reason, if you needed to, turn your paper over so you can draw from the top down. That just makes life much easier. Like the sailboat situation. You're trying to make sure the mast hits the boat. Turn your paper upside down and then that way you can be sure that the mast will hit the boat where you want it to and not miss the boat, because that way when the paper's upside down you can start with the boat. Yeah, maybe you want to measure. Let's see. There's not a really strong pattern of light and shadow here because it's such a gray day. So things are only darker really that are inside, under. Oh, good night. I just feel like I need some, oh, there could be some more yellow flowers right there, I guess. Like really nothing goes on here too much right through there. But I do see an occasional orange flower peeking through, so maybe I can have something. Kind of now that I look at it, seems like a big blank space in here. And maybe I need, I don't know, I feel like I don't want to make, maybe I've got too much of the leaves all the same, so maybe I could. Hate it. So a lot of times people ask me, like, how much am I really looking at the painting or at the photograph or the scene or whatever. I'm a little bit more focused on the painting right now than I am on the actual scene, although I'm certainly getting plenty of information from the, I make these little round nasturtium leaves. like I need some darker darks too. Oh, she doesn't have the right color she wants. She doesn't even know exactly what that right color is, but also, yeah, I just would like to be braver, but I gotta tell you, those guys, those people in the museum, their paintings were really, really well drawn. It was not like being loose meant being sloppy at all. Let's see what you'll do. Too late, kind of. Yeah, maybe some more. A little more something in front of that. And I can just tell you that I know I'm kind of having a little trouble here, not really looking at the whole thing, just getting kind of tightened down and focused on wherever it is I'm painting. God, I need that to be darker and duller, but what? All right, well, there's, probably really if I would have to spray this again, I think. I was just trying to make that like less interesting, but now it just looks less well drawn. And it just kind of crossed my mind, maybe I want some white flowers, even though there aren't any. It's a painting pretty much without any white in it. It's like, I feel like, you know, drawing mistakes multiply as time goes on. Any mistakes you made just keep getting worse. Holy cow, who knows? Doesn't really help that you can't quite really see what's going on in there. But you know, I guess if you can't see it, you're not obligated to do it. That's what I always tell people. Gotta do something about that right there. All right, so this comes this way. And maybe this is really that light up there, but I don't want it to take your eye out of the painting. I'm just gonna knock it down some. And then pull the flowers out a little more. Okay, well, I don't know what else to do, so I'll do a little noun painting. Grass. Yeah, I feel like I don't have enough kind of variety of greens even. Like I got too much green, I guess is how I'm feeling. What the heck these are supposed to be down here. I guess they could be nasturtiums. All right, I'm not finished, but I'm quitting.